Hi Roomies, this is Rooms by Roma Interior Design, and in today's video, I thought we'd touch on art. There have been some questions about my philosophies on art, what I think about art placement in your home, and those sorts of things, and so I thought we'd take some time to touch on a video today and talk about art. So, one of my philosophies on art is I think the art should be personal to you. It doesn't matter if anyone else likes it. My vision for my home is for the art to be the star of the show and my home to be the supporting actor for that art. And so it's taken a little while for me to get the art that I love, but I think when I find it, which I think it should be for you as well, you find it and you love it, you pick up those pieces because they speak or they mean something to you. I also think that art doesn't have to be expensive. It's just what you love and what you like, and it should reflect your taste and not be cut and paste of what someone else may like or think is the trending art piece or whatever. It should be something that speaks to you or invokes memories for you, or something you've picked up on some place you travel, or something that reminds you of someone else. So of course today we're talking about art, wall art, but I also think that can spill out into art pieces, either vases or boxes or any sort of decorative art as well. It should be something that means to you or sparks a memory or something like that. So, so today, so we're gonna start with this piece. It's one of my other favorite pieces of art in my home, and it's called La Familia. The artist is Orlando, and I picked up this piece in Hawaii, on Maui. And I found this piece the year that we went to Maui to bury my husband's ashes. So I took my daughter to see a luau that my husband and I would always go to, and that she went to when she was little, but she just didn't remember because she was so little. But there is an art studio there, and I'm not remembering the name of it, and it's probably not there anymore because of the fires that happened in Lahaina. But we were wandering through because I had looked at some other pieces there on another trip that I had gone to, and this was in the front of the gallery. And again, it was one of those pieces I felt that spoke to me. And again, the title is La Familia, and I don't know if you can tell, but these are faces on the inside, and then the bottom is hands that are praying together. And it just reminded me of our family. It's me and my husband and us taking care of our daughter, praying over our daughter and protecting her. And it just reminded me of that. And so this, like I said, is a piece that means a lot to me. When I saw it, I immediately fell in love and knew that it needed to come in our home. And my daughter loved it as well. And she said that that's what it reminded her of. She goes, "That looks like you and Daddy." And so that's why I picked it up for us and brought it home. So again, it took a while for me to figure out where I wanted to place it. It stayed crated for a while in a box, but I thought this was a good space for it because I have other pictures of my husband and I together in this area on a different wall. And so I thought that this would be fitting to also have this up here. Also, the tones of the picture match the tones in this room. There's gray on the walls, there's gray in the picture. I also like, I think I've talked about this in one of my other videos. So I think I've talked about this in one of my other videos. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but I'm always drawn to art that has faces. I don't know if I just feel like that art has a little more life to it, or it's something more personable because I can see a face. I think part of it is too, when I talk with people, I like to look in their eyes and see their face and that sort of thing. And so I think that might have something to do with it. But the faces and the color of this really sort of spoke out to me, because the other thing I like about art, or that I have grown to like about art that I didn't know I liked about art before, is the different color variations of the art, depending on where it's placed. So I have some other art in my home where it's on a white wall and the art is colored. And I thought, you know, if I do hang this on another wall, the piece would still speak more and still be noticeable because of all the color, no matter what wall it's on. And so I really have fallen in love with this. And it's something that it's next to my bedroom. So I see it every morning when I get up, and I see it every evening before I go to bed. And it just has a lot of meaning for me. So this was another piece that I love and have acquired. And I think if you do that when you're traveling, or when you go on vacation, or to a different country, and those sorts of things, that's a good time for you to search for art, because then when you find those pieces that you like, I always think you have good memories of those pieces and those places you visit, or the people you go and visit them with. So this is a piece that will always remind me of my daughter, and me taking her to, you know, see the luau and the look on her face, and her picking it out. And she, at the time, you know, it's 3 years ago, she was 7. But, you know, I also let her go around the gallery and sort of look and see and touch, and things that she was allowed to touch or pick up, just so that she would have that experience too. And, you know, I picked 3 or 4 pieces, and I told her, out of those 3 or 4 pieces, which one do you like? And she says, I like the one that reminds me of you and Daddy. And so that's why we have it. Hey roommates, so I noticed that a lot of you have been watching my videos, but not taking the time to go down to the bottom to like and subscribe. I would love it if you would take the time to do that and become an official roomie. Go down to the bottom and click that like and subscribe button. The like helps me know what kind of videos you like to see, and the subscribe does help my channel. And I love it when I have new roommates. Just trying to see how many people we can pack in our house. So take the time to go down and do that. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, I look forward to creating with you. Hello, 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 hello. So the practical things about art are more than just making your space look pretty. So I think hanging art on your walls can also help with sound dampening, because if you do have a large space or even a smaller space, the echoing can have an effect on you. And it just helps hanging the art, mirrors, that sort of thing, can help dampen some of the sound and bounce the sound in other areas. So I think that that's something else that you want to think about too when hanging art, is the practicality of that. So in this space, I've hung this Buddha on the wall. This is something I've had for about 15 years or so. I've had it for a while. I think I got it at Z Gallery, which is no longer Z Gallery anymore, but that's where I got it from. I am not a religious person. I don't know what it is. I think, again, it's that connection of art to seeing art that has faces in it that I liked about this piece. Also, I like the scale. I like the size. It's always hung on a pretty substantial size wall in our home. Any place we have it, it's always on a larger space. Also, too, when it comes to hanging art, there is always this, well, I won't say always, but people have a philosophy of, well, if you have a big piece of art, you need a big wall. And I don't necessarily believe that. I also think that you can have a smaller wall and hang a larger piece of art, or multiple sizes of art to fill that space, because I think it feels more curated that way. You can also take a small piece of art and hang it on a huge wall, because I think that juxtaposition of that will create a different sort of feeling and also a different conversation you can have with this little piece of art on this large wall. So those are other things to think about. So I'm gonna touch on this again, but like I have this gallery wall. So this is a way that you can hang art. I know some people don't like gallery walls. I like them according to what space you use them in. And so these are probably my least favorite art pieces in my home because it is some of those art pieces that I just bought to fill the space. And so I think one of my mistakes was buying art just to fill the space because I was tired of looking at the blank wall. And at the time when we moved into this house, my husband was also tired of looking at the blank wall. And so I went to Home Goods and I bought a bunch of art and sort of spread it out and said, oh, if I arrange it like this, I think it's gonna look nice. And it looks fine. It's just, it doesn't have the same meaning to me as some of the other art I have in the house. But this is sort of what I did with this. It's the same sort of concept is I was filling the wall with space. I love these though. These I also picked up at Home Goods, but I like the texture of these. I also like the black and white of them. And I've had these for a while too, but I like how they're arranged and I like the gallery style of these, like it's an art gallery sort of space and not just a gallery wall. I also like these because my husband picked them out. I sent him a bunch of pictures of some art and he really liked these black and white ones. And so, again, I had someone come in and hang these and that sort of thing. The only thing I think I'm missing is I don't have picture lights over the top. And the main reason is because I wasn't sure if I was gonna keep these. And so I didn't wanna also mount lights above them and then change them out and then have to move the lights and have all these holes in the wall and then patch the holes and repaint. I just didn't wanna go through all that. And so once I decided that I like them, I have found some picture lights that I like for them. And so with some of the other art, now that it's more permanent, I'm gonna buy those and probably have another video to put those picture lights up over the artwork. But again, I think when you take the time to find the art you like, you have less mistakes of art that you've purchased that now I'm gonna have to probably sell on Facebook Marketplace or something like that because it's nice, I mean, it's fine, it fills the space, but it's not things I love like some of the other art. Which brings me to my next point, which is art you love. And this, of course, is art I love. Where have you seen her before? So I think this is probably, again, my favorite piece of art I have in my home. Again, when I saw this piece, it was one of those that stopped me in my tracks. I had to walk backwards into the art gallery to view it because her eyes, again, is just something about the eyes and her face and the color that just drew me in. And I love it. I think this is probably my favorite piece of art I have in the home. I like the texture of it. I like the coloring in here. I like, again, the face. It just draws you in. And so these are one of the things I like about it. This is by Craig Tracy. He has a gallery in New Orleans. This is where I picked this up during a trip I went to celebrate with a friend for his 50th birthday. We went to Mardi Gras. And I picked this up at the gallery there. It is a one of one. You may see some that look like this, but the story of the one of one is when I had these windows, the trim of the windows installed, the contractor damaged the bottom of this when he pulled apart the pieces to frame it. And so I had to send it back to the artist and he touched it up on the bottom and repaired it. And so the bottom of this piece actually looked a lot different then than it does now. And I actually like it a lot better. He added a little more texture to it and some more coloring on the bottom and a lot more white to sort of bring it out on the bottom. So it truly is a one of one. There's not going to be another one like this. And that's the other thing I like about it. it's definitely a me piece. It speaks to me. A lot of people don't like it. It kind of creeps them out, but I'm like, that's what art should be. It should be art you love and why you love it and what speaks to you about it, and not, it's not going to be everyone's taste, but I love her. So I think the tips that I would remember from this are: buy art that means something to you. Don't just worry so much about filling the space and having the empty walls and that sort of thing, or you're going to end up like me and you have a bunch of art that you don't really like or care for. It doesn't have a meaning to you, and now you're trying to figure out how to replace it with something else that you love. So when you are traveling, or when you do have moments in life, maybe you are a photographer, or maybe you do make your own art. Those are the things, the art that I would hang in my home, things that revoke those memories and those sorts of things, where they have meaning to you, or they invoke some sort of emotion or memory, or just a conversation of, oh my God, that's beautiful, and where did you get it? And so those are the things I think I would take away from this. Also, be creative when you're trying to hang art in spaces. Again, just because you have the large wall doesn't mean you necessarily have to have a large piece of art. You can have a large wall and have a smaller piece of art, or do a gallery wall of pictures that mean something to you. Also, something that I didn't touch on, but I don't have a lot of personal pictures in public spaces in my home. I think those areas, I do have some, but I save those areas for like hallways that lead to other rooms. So hallways that might lead to a guest room, or hallways that might lead to a bedroom. We have some of those pictures that are more personal to us and our family, because I think that's more of where I want those pieces. I want to see those pieces when I'm waking up in the morning, or when I'm going to bed at night, because those are the other memories of what I have or would like. And those are areas that I think I have those. And then the larger spaces in our house, I think I've used for art that I've picked up when we travel and that sort of thing, because then I think it makes more of a conversation. Those are places that people are going to see more often. Most people are not going up to our bedrooms and that sort of thing and seeing that other art, but the spaces that I have in the house where we are communing together as friends and family, that's where I have the art I think that makes the most impact. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. And again, take the time to go down to the bottom and click those buttons, like and subscribe. And I always look forward to creating with you.